Tune in every Thursday at 11 a.m. on WSAN Radio for the Impact Hour with Joseph Lee, where real conversations lead to real change. Joseph Lee is a licensed therapist with over 15 years of experience, and each week he brings practical guidance, clear insight, and solutions you can use to navigate stress, anxiety, relationships, family pressures, and the challenges we're facing in today's world. Today's discussion pulls from Psychology Today magazine and other trusted resources because your mental health matters and your community matters. Have a topic you want us to cover? Reach out to WSAN Radio and let's talk. Let's break the silence, strengthen our families, and make a positive impact together. The Impact Hour with Joseph Lee, Thursdays at 11 a.m., only on WSAN Radio, the soul of America and beyond.
Yeah, that is so true. Good morning, Mr. Lee. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was, I know I want to tell you. Now, we know how things are going. It comes in threes. Well, let me break it down to you what's been happening at the Gordon household. Now, everybody know later last year, we had raccoons that destroyed our roof right before that windstorm hit your roof. And we got the whole roof replaced. Okay, fine. So now I turned around and got somebody to trim my trees. It's a hornet's nest up there, big as a medicine ball. So they came and took care of that. And then 3 weeks later, my wife here, boom, she said, somebody in the kitchen. I said, baby, ain't nobody in the kitchen. I said, we got an alarm system. If they can't pass their alarm system, then we got to be worried about it. End up, a possum got up in the attic and broke the soffit and came down. So make a long story short, I called this Superior Pest Service. Somebody just ran into at an event. He came over and put a couple of traps out, 2 in the attic and 1 outside, and we caught 1 possum already. But he said they travel in pairs and in packs. So he said, we're not going to finish. We're not going to close that hole up yet. We're going to make sure we catch them all. So then my wife's saying, I think it's time for me to move to a living assistant home. I said, go ahead. I'll stay here by myself. Now, you talking about stuff like that, working on your psyche. You talking about what else can happen. Plus, we're getting the foundation done on the 1st. And I told my wife, this house been here 20 years. And these are the first instances that we're having. So there's no need to panic right now. Just leave it alone. So I'm talking to her, and I just said, I need to bring Joseph in here. Because she's talking about skipping town, skipping the country. And then I explained to her this. I said, we got to remember one thing. These animals and bees and stuff was here way before we got here. The animals, we built in their spot. They're coming home and they don't like what we did. So they're doing things. They think they're at home. So I said, just leave it alone. It'd be okay. So now she's sitting back. She's resting. But whew, she tired me out.
Well, so now you know why I'm so tired half the time, right? When you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, and that's anxious, And what's funny is I just paid the bill to have the soffit of my house in Michigan repaired from raccoon damage.
Oh.
So my brother, shout out to Jordan Gilliam up there and his buddy Eric, who did some work on my house up there in Michigan, just repaired the soffit from raccoon. So hey, we're echoing each other's situations. I think the animals are attacking, right? And neither one of those places are in any country areas, right? You live in San Antonio. That house is in Grand Rapids. And what's funny is, I'm about to get the foundation done to the house down here. So, when you're a homeowner, man, when a house has been around for, 15, 20 years, it's going to take some TLC, right?
Yes.
And that's what it is. And you're lucky if those are the things that you're dealing with, as well. So,
yeah,
as you know, Ron, and people don't know this, but I'm putting it out there. Ron is known as the Black MacGyver around here. So we were joking about that before the show, which I was the one who gave him that name. Back in the day when he came out there with a screwdriver and repaired my air conditioner. And as you know, in San Antonio, air conditioning is life or death down here.
Yeah.
So I was highly upset when the company came out supposed to fix it, that actually broke it after Ron fixed it. So he became a legend that day, becoming the Black MacGyver. So multi-talented, which is part of the village, right? You got to have people that have multiple skills. I guess mine, mental health, as well as kind of problem solving. But I have to be honest. I'm really excited about the topic. One of the topics I want to talk about today. I read through this book before, but now I've gone through it with a clinical lens. Craig Washington, one of the Christian life coaches with the Impact Collaboration. I took my Impact background. You can see what my office looks like, because I want people to see this book clearly. You can pick it up, I believe, on Amazon. My wife's bought a copy. I've got a copy. Ron's got a copy. And I've gone through it. We're going to be doing some groups here in the San Antonio area and online. And I'm going to tell you, these groups are going to go fast, because what this actually is, when I went through this with my clinical lens and started looking through this is actually a 30-day life-changing book on male accountability, healing, and rebuilding. And don't we need that, in the world, in the community? You can think about the implications of this. People that have come out of prison, that need to rebuild, to heal. People that have gone through a divorce. People that have lost their job. People are just feeling down. There's a lot of things, and I've gone through this, and it gets in the weeds. It gets deep on a lot of things. There's actually a few days on here, and see what I like about it is not just it gets to the issue mentally. There's also a spiritual component and a Christian component where the word is given that helps you to go deeper. And then what we're going to do is look at the clinical aspects of lens and begin doing the therapy groups and things from that. And obviously life coaching, because sometimes it's not a clinical need. Sometimes there is just a coaching need, just somebody to kind of nudge you in the right direction, remove some doubt, get you moving, and collectively we're stronger. That's a part of that village. So we're going to be getting men together and moving them forward. We don't have to wait till the yearly retreat from a church to do it. That's not a bad thing, but we need to have a constant vehicle to rebuild, heal, and rise again. So I want to give a shout out to my brother Craig Washington, who put this book together. It's published, it's copywritten, it's done right, and it is anointed. I'm going to tell you right now, if you got a man in your life that is not going through something, he needs to get himself together. You need to get him this book and reach out to WSAN Radio, Impact Counseling, to Guided Grace Christian Services on my site, and also on his site, and get this book. Go to Amazon, pick that book up. It's called I Don't Talk About It, But I Need to. And listen, how relevant is that, right? How relevant is needing to talk about it, right? We don't talk about it. And unfortunately, being a therapist over 15 years, I've been in the room in a lot of discussions where people, if they had talked about it earlier, they wouldn't have been in the situations that they were in. Lives could have been changed. Courses could have been different. Trajectories could have been higher. So we got to start talking about it.
Yeah.
You can't, be an island. Because see what happens is you watch the movies, you watch those scary movies where something gets you separated, and once you get separated from your group, you get destroyed.
Yeah.
Right. And so you gotta talk about it so you can get some help, get some guidance. But let me say this: it's important who you talk to.
That's true.
Okay? So you need to talk to somebody that has some confidentiality licensure, and some ability and some training techniques to help you with your situation. You don't want to talk to somebody that's gonna, run their mouth about your situation.
Yeah, put it
You
on
want somebody that's
Facebook.
gonna put it on, put it on Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram, all the social media. You need to talk about it in the right place. And I would dare say, you might want to stop talking about things so much on social media, because that's not the place for your problems, your intimate issues that you're dealing with. So I'm gonna talk about that for a second, because I'm gonna talk about the ladies for a minute. And men, you stop putting your relationship stuff out on Facebook. I'm gonna let that set for a minute. Stop putting your business out on Facebook. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
If you need attention, call on the Lord. He's always available.
He's always open.
He's always open. He might not tell nobody, and if he does tell somebody, it's the person you need to talk to. But stop putting your business on Facebook. You probably, I'm giving you an example of some of the ignorant things I've seen done, right? Especially if you're in the military, okay? Don't put your business out there on Facebook. Not gonna go into any details in particular, but stop doing it, because in the military, there's actually consequences that can happen by you doing that. But even if you're not in the military, let me tell you about some of the consequences. You never know. If you're a wife or wannabe wife, and you're putting your business out in the street, you might be advertising your husband to somebody else.
Exactly.
You might be your own worst enemy. There used to be some old songs. See, you gotta listen to some of that old music. The cleanup lady is always waiting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she waiting for you to get tired.
Mm-hmm.
She already got the spot ready. She already got the meal plan together. She already got everything. The cleanup. You need to listen to some of these old songs, because they're trying to tell you something.
The
right?
the babysitter.
Come on, the baby's. Oh man, come on now. Listen. So we're gonna get into some relationship issues a little bit. I know we're gonna go. I talk about my brother's book here for a minute, but
Yeah.
listen. Stop with the Facebook advertising of your relationship. Keep your business private, or talk to somebody that is going to be able to help. Now, back in the day, we used to have mothers in the church, and we still do in some churches, to have mothers that you can go to maybe tell you something. But talk to some of them women that have been married for a while. 15, 20 years, they can maybe give you some good advice. I always say that. You don't have to, if you don't want to talk to a therapist, I get it. Talk to somebody with some wisdom. Reading Proverbs, first and second chapter, it talks about the person. It's actually in Proverbs 1, he's talking about a message to a son. But I dare say that's actually a message to anybody that wants wisdom. And wisdom is defined in those chapters as, and I feel like I'm a preacher right now, but I'm going to talk about it since I'm already on it, right? Proverbs 1 is talking about, if you don't listen to wisdom, what's going to happen? Putting your stuff out on Facebook. Anybody can put anything on Facebook.
That's right.
So how much wisdom is in there? It says that the beginning of knowledge is fearing the Lord, right? And knowledge comes from the Lord. That's where it comes from. True knowledge, true wisdom comes from the Lord. I dare say a lot of that wisdom that you're looking at on that fake wisdom, that AI wisdom, is not, on Facebook. Okay? Some of it, yeah, so there's some good jewels there. But what's the backstory? What's the context? Where did they get that from? Has it been seasoned? Or is that just an emotional response to a situation that's going to end up causing you more detriment than good? Yeah, I've fallen for it. One of my fraternity brothers had to tighten me up a little bit when I saw, some things going on, and he worked for, an agency in Chicago, and was like, hey, Joe, wait till you get the ballistic report. Every time I show up on the scene, I'm lied to. And I was just like, man, but that don't make sense. You know, how are they going to do this and do that? That was my ocean. Because I was watching something on Facebook and I'm seeing what happened to this young man. And yes, I know that bad things happen to us in particular. And not just us. It's happened to a lot of folks. But I thought that I had all the scene together, but didn't know until that ballistic report came out. It wasn't like they said it was.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I got an unpopular conversation, but I don't care about running for being popular. I'm not running for office. I'm trying to be effective. So I've been watching some things for years, actually. And I was going to go ahead and put this thing together called a survival boot camp, and I'm still going to probably do that. And I don't care if this idea gets stolen. I don't care if people try to patent it and whatever the case may be, because this is no patent on this. If you want to, people want to try to steal it, go ahead. Because the ultimate idea here is for this to spread anyway. Mm-hmm. Not everything is designed for money, but I'm going to tell you, if you try to patent this and run with it, it might not go the way you think anyway, because it's not a popular comment. I've seen a lot of people lately talking to our kids about, and when we lose, and not just our kids, but when we lose folks to police violence, everybody wants to talk about and jump on the police, which in some cases, obviously, that needs to happen. But we've been jumping on the police for years now. People are still getting killed. I'm thinking in particular about a situation in Grand Rapids that a man was killed with his hands behind his back. He was shot, and you know, there's a lot of outcry. Ben Crump is there. You know, Robert. Is there. You know, there people are gonna know who I'm talking about from Grand Rapids, and they're gonna know the gentleman's name. And I don't know if I want to say his name right now. I want you people to look it up and find out. Right, go to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and look at that situation. So a lot of the leaders are talking about, as they should, we need police reform, we change, and all that, and we always do that, right? But what's the definition of insanity? I'm just, you know, I'm giving it not a clinical, but what's the definition of insanity? Doing what?
Doing
the
crazy
same thing
over, yeah.
And what? Expecting a different outcome.
And
doing
it's
the
the
same
thing
over again and expecting a different outcome. So what are we doing? The same thing. Different outcome, right?
You're not even recycling it. You're just not even trying nothing new. You're just doing the same thing week in and week out, and it's the same result.
So the person I was talking about was DeQuan Johnson.
Yep.
And horrible situation, disgusting, it's gut-wrenching, beyond tired of seeing us getting killed. But now I want to talk about it from a clinical perspective, because that's not the perspective that people usually hear. Police, as well as victims of crimes, of shootings, they're not oblivious to fight or flight. We've got to stop putting ourselves in positions where we can be killed so easily. And what do I mean by that? If you understand fight or flight, if you understand the law, then we have to understand that when you're in a situation where you're not quite sure what's going to happen, and you get into this mode where you're trying to survive a situation, and the police are involved, you kind of have to follow a protocol or you're putting your life at risk. You have to understand fight or flight. When fight or flight happens, even if you're trained, your judgment is impaired. Doesn't mean it's an excuse. Just means it's a reality, clinically. So I can train a person as much as I want, but if they're in fight or flight already and they're impaired, you can condition a response, but if that response could cause you to delay and cost you your life, what do you think you're going to do? Follow the training or follow the response? Clinically, you're going to follow the response. So what we have to learn how to do is be proactive. Proactive. What does that mean? If you're not supposed to have a gun and you're living in a society, the guns are running rampant and the police notices you have a weapon, then we have to do what's called learning how to survive the encounter. Learning how to survive the encounter. What does that mean? This is where it's not going to be popular, Ron. We have to learn how to comply early so we don't give the police an excuse, reason, or response, clinical response that could result in taking our life. Trying to escape from the police when you have a firearm, that's something that we can control.
Yeah.
Anything after that is kind of too late. We got to solve this situation from the very beginning, so we don't have to try to fix it on the back end. Because fixing it on the back end, it ain't working. It's not working. And it's not going to work. Because clinically, it's not valid or sound. Legally, it's not in our favor as well. Constable on patrol. That's what a cop is. Came from an old European, England, saying of what a police officer is. Constable on patrol. That means constable is what? It's a judge. They can render judgment. It's from the court. It's how it's set up. You don't want to hold court on the street, because the court is always going to lean in the favor of who they're named after. Constable on patrol is the police. And now we got ICE. That's a whole new situation.
It sure is.
So all this stuff, going and talking and marching about the situation, I get it. I get the emotional response. Tactically, I don't see that it's going to work out. So what I would like to start working on is how we can condition the community's response from the onset. That when the police show up, we finally got most of the police officers to have a camera. So comply, so you don't die. I watch this stuff over and over again. I can go through every single shooting, and I can tell you a point where they probably could have changed the scenario where it would have been a lot harder to make the argument that the police officer was in fight or flight. If they have to chase you, and you have a gun on you, or they say you have a gun on you,
Yeah.
it's hard to plant a gun on somebody when they're standing there with their hands behind their back or up.
True.
With the camera on you. I'm not saying that the gun was planted. I'm not saying that at all. But if you have a gun on you and you're running away, understand something. It gives an excuse. We got to take the excuses away. I've said this before, and they're like, "Oh man, you on their side." No, I'm not on their side. It's clinical. Debate with me on the clinical part of this. Find out what fight or flight is. Find out how we can remove all the excuses from the police department. Because obviously they're going to have, their attorneys going to say, well, he had a gun on him, and he had this, and he ran, and he resisted. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Pull over. Put your hands at 11 and 2. Cut the light on. Have your paperwork ready. Don't argue. That's where we got to get to. If we really want to make a difference, if we want to make a change. Tell your children, don't hold court on the street. We'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it later. Now, is that message going to be popular? No. But is it going to make a difference? Yeah. If we start teaching our kids to stop grabbing the cell phones and recording them and agitating and making the situation worse. Now, I don't care if people like the message. I know that that's going to be effective. Common sense is no longer common. We're more interested in getting likes, more interested in getting media attention, like our last name is CNN, and it's costing us our lives.
Mm-hmm.
What would these great men that are behind me say about this foolishness that's going on? Not one of them ever did anything that was outside of logic and intelligence. Not one of them. Why are we?
So let me jump in real quick. What you saying is right on point.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to admit, well, I'm going to admit it, we got a few stray cops out there that the first thing come out their mouth, stop resisting, and you're not doing anything. Mm-hmm. They use that, stop resisting, stop doing this, and you got your hands up in the air and you cooperating, and they're trying to agitate you to react on what they're doing. And if you still stand there like that, and they get madder and madder at you for not reacting for what they're doing, and then sometimes that turns out a little volatile because the cops are upset, gonna pull the gun out, do whatever they want to do. Now, I know all cops not like that. I'm gonna put that out there, but we do have our bad apples out there that thinking they're the judge and jury.
Well, let's go to that first person that's right there, Dr. King, and the nonviolent movement, right? I'm not saying that we need to adopt everything in the nonviolent movement. What I'm saying is it's a lot harder to say a person was not complying when they are complying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a lot harder on that video if you keep your hands up and you just keep your hands up and you haven't run or fought or whatever. But when somebody, and let's talk about the bad apples, because we all know there's bad apples out there. Let's just keep it real. And there are some good folks out there. But I'm talking about the situation, and regardless if you have a good or a bad actor, they know that that camera is on and you got your hands up and you're not resisting. It's going to be a lot harder to justify what they do. That's the point I'm trying to get to. I'm not saying that bad thing won't happen. I can't guarantee that. The point is to put yourself in a position where the best thing or best outcome is more likely. Now, you got your hands up. You got a bad actor. Somebody might have forgotten to cut their camera off if they're about to do something wrong. Somebody else might be recording while your hands are up. And if they do something wrong, then yeah, they get pursued. If you got your camera on and they're telling you put your hands up or stop moving, you're not complying. And I actually had, when we went to Dallas, we took the Kappa Leaguers, which is the youth group, Kappa League for Kappa, up to Dallas, and they simulated a car with about 4 people in there, and they simulated a protocol for approaching a vehicle, and a flash suddenly happens at night. Police are scared in fight or flight. Even though they're trained, they also are trying to survive. A lot of people don't know it. I'm just giving the context. I'm not taking sides on anything. I want people to understand the situation. Because clinically, you can't help somebody if you don't understand the situation. Police officers, when they walk up to a car, they put their thumbprint on the back of a car. Did you know that? They do that because if they get killed, they can prove after they're gone that they were at that scene.
Right.
Or they were where they were at on that vehicle. That's what I was told. Now that's what, so if you're in a mindset of already, if I get killed, and then all of a sudden you see a flash because somebody picked up their phone and it maybe had some music on or being disrespectful, maybe smell some weed. I don't know. I'm just talking about scenarios that they told me about. We've got to learn how to survive the encounter so that we can root out the bad cops.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're acting bad, when they're acting bad, it kind of makes it harder for the argument to have as much validity. Because they're saying, other people are saying, this is what the other folks are saying, right? Well, if he didn't have a gun and he wasn't on probation and all this other stuff, the police would have had to do all that. Okay. Is that valid or invalid? I'm going to answer, it's valid. I don't like it. It's not sound. Now, there's a difference between valid and sound. Because, yeah, if there were certain things that weren't done in the community that put this person in that position, then he had less choices and all that, then yeah, it's a complicated issue. But the reality is we've always dealt with complicated issues in this country. Us being here in this country is a complicated issue. But do you want to survive and thrive, or do we want to keep walking the wheel of insanity and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome? I don't want to go to no more funerals. I don't want to do no more marching. I want to make changes. And that starts here.
Yep.
That starts here. So I don't care if this is popular or not. I don't care if this crunches somebody who wants to sit in front of another panel and seem important to the community and all that. Let's get to the bottom line. How do we change it? Change the mindset, change the approach, change the triggers, change the ability for them to actually say that they did something right, that it ended up wrong. No, I need them to be wrong from the get-go.
Yep.
That means that we have to stand from a point of self correction and community empowerment to say, you know what, I'm not going to give them a reason to take my life. I'm not going to give them even a chance to. And if they do, it's going to have to be blatant. It's going to have to be blatant. And that still may happen. But at least you give the community something to work with in terms of now you don't have a reason to say that this person is out of line. Because this person, and you notice, how many people have they killed lately that have had no criminal record, that had nothing illegal, had nothing, so what's going on? I've been stopped by the police. I've been harassed by the police. But I get out of it quick because they know they don't want to go too much further with this. There's a recourse, they know, because even a dirty cop still understands the law and that they can get caught up. And they do that probability outcome in their head. Well, this guy doesn't have a record, doesn't have anything against him. He probably knows a couple of attorneys. He's in a fraternity that has a lot of attorneys. He could probably end my career and change something if something happens to him. But if I'm doing some things wrong, and then I'm trying to get out of a situation by trying to manipulate the situation by running, having a camera, whatever, and then flipping it, the court is going to always be on the side of the police officer. So let's put our community in a better mindset and look, if you're doing something wrong, don't get killed out here. Let's think it through. You might not want to go to jail, but guess what? If you messed up, the police on you, you got a gun on you, might as well comply. If you did something wrong, if you got a criminal record and the police on you, you might as well comply. Because the result is, unfortunately, if you don't comply, you will most likely or maybe die. Anybody don't like what I got to say? Anybody want to call in? Anybody want to send a message? Please do. Condolences to anybody or anybody's family that has lost a loved one to police violence. But understand something. We have got to start policing ourselves so that we don't allow outside the community to have to so-called police us.
But you know what, Joseph? I hear you talking. Everybody else hear you talking. But the climate we in right now, the political climate, along with ICE out there doing what they want to do, all of it sounds good. But we got to have compliance on both sides. You know what I mean?
We've never had compliance completely on both sides.
Yeah, well, somewhere along the line that has to happen because there's innocent people out there that haven't done anything.
Here's this. Let's think about it, right? That's part of the argument. We got to have compliance on both sides. I can't expect a dog to fly or a bird to bark. If a system was built on exploitation, when are we ever going to think it's going to change for equality? How does that work? One of the most powerful things that happened in that Kappa mentorship meeting was this young man stood up and he was eloquent. I was so proud of how he said what he said. He said, these police officers are trained and they're supposed to be respectful and they're supposed to understand if we are upset and not still do harm to us. That's their job. And he said, and the judge said he was America's favorite judge. I forget his name. I have to look it up. But he's has a judge. He's like John Mathis, or what's his name, Mathis, but
yeah.
But out on the West Coast. My fraternity brother. I'm so sorry I can't think of his name right now. But he said it's so smooth and so direct. He said, "Oh, I understand your problem. You think that this country is fair. It's never been fair. We got a president with 34 felonies. Possibly a pedophile, most likely a pedophile. And we're trying to make the police department fair? I mean, not everybody is crooked, but if the president is crooked,
that's
what makes you ever think that the police? It is a message that this administration is sending to the world. The game has changed. We have to survive, and we have to use every mechanism that we have to survive and thrive. That's the reality. Now, I'm hoping We don't have to go into straight survival mode, but there are folks that want that to happen, and they're prepared for it. They're trying to entice us to react, to be stupid, so that they can overreact. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so they could justify why they doing it because you did this and we were waiting for y'all to do that. It's already lined up. It's already lined up.
Let me tell you how lined up it is, Ron. Let me tell you how lined up it is. See, people don't even they've been in the stew but don't know the flavor. Check every major city in this country. See where the hood is in every city in this country and see if there aren't already major highways that dump into the hood, where artillery and other things could easily go into to that area. You don't have to be a civil engineer to understand that.
No.
So thank goodness we have not gone completely that way. So we have to play the cards that we're dealt. And we have to pray.
That last part.
That's what we have to do. And that's why I said we have to learn how to survive the encounter. And if we don't like something, we need to then put our money together and stop paying the people that exploit us. Stop going out and buying the newest car. Stop going out and wasting your money on places that don't invest in your community, don't invest in you, don't understand you, don't understand what you're going through, and more importantly, don't even care. And we got Target's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Target's attention. Now they overdoing it, right? We need to do that countrywide. So that's a part of building the village. I know that may not sound good and people may not like it or whatever, but you know, as a therapist and in therapy, I don't know why people think that everything is supposed to feel good, because if you're in a physical therapy, it sure don't feel good when you're there, but it's supposed to feel good afterwards. Right? Make the adjustments. Make the adjustments. Stop waiting for the person that is designed to oppress you to help you. Overseer, officer, very similar. The plantation just changed a little bit. Interesting though. Look at what the White House looks like right now. Mm-hmm. He turned it into a plantation, didn't he?
Yep.
Didn't he? So what does that say about everybody else?
I'm glad you mentioned plantation because some still have that plantation mentality.
Oh,
and what I mean by that is, if everybody should know, back slavery, when one slave got in trouble, they all got in trouble. And we're thinking the same thing while a lot of people won't speak out because they afraid of getting in trouble. And we gotta get rid of that mindset.
It's hard to get rid of the mindset when people don't even know where they are. It's hard to get rid of it, and don't have the ability to. See, Ron, both of us, and I'm telling my business a little bit, both of us are able to retire, right? We can do what we want to do, but we got to punch a clock, and you got to work for the organization, plantation, that you're working on. It's harder to stand up because people listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to say that when you're in a position to say that. But sometimes you can say it without saying it.
Yeah.
Action speaks loud. How do we end the show? Which is coming up in about 15 minutes. Your action speaks so loudly, I can't hear the words you're saying.
And silence is not the issue.
Silence sometimes says everything. In fact, I think Dr. King said it best. The silence of our enemies The silence, it's not the loudness, the noise of our enemies that makes us hurt more. It's the silence from our friends. See, we got all this hatred towards one person right now. A lot of people, oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand this person. I can't stand this person. You know what we really shouldn't stand? The society that allowed this person to be.
Exactly.
I was over in the Philippines a few months ago, and there's a politician there. You say this without laughing. I'm sorry. I got laugh. There's a politician there. He's messing the money up. Let's put it like that. He's messing the money up. And the people went and burned his house down.
What?
They burnt his house down. The people.
Mm.
What's it going to take for us to understand and not be passive? And because for what's going on, we sure seem to be all right. And I'm not saying that we need to go and burn. Please don't take that. I'm saying to go burn. Please don't take that. I'm not saying to go and burn the house down. But there used to be this song that used to be out there. We used to say, tear the club up. We need to disrupt in the ways we need to disrupt politically and financially, and we can do that. We have more mechanisms now than we've ever had to take control of our destiny as best we possibly can, and just to pull back. And you know what? To our compliment, we are doing that. We have pulled back, and people are noticing. It's an instinctive thing that we're doing right now. I'm so proud of the village, the community. We have pulled back. We aren't out there. I know there's a No Kings Day. I'm glad there's a lot of people going to support that. I think that's a good idea. Go support the No Kings Day and then leave it alone. Leave it alone. See, we've been cleaning up messes for hundreds of years. This is not our mess to clean up. It's not ours. We can be involved, but now it's time to take care of our village.
That's right.
That's what time it is. I'm going to put it out there. Take care of your village, your people that are there for you, your people that are put and invested in you. I got this message. I'm going to send this out. I'm going to say this a little later. I'm going to go ahead and say it now because I'm in the mood. I had somebody reach out to me and say, you know, somebody was hurt, you left, and all this, that, and the other, left Grand Rapids. And I said, listen, you know what? I might have left Grand Rapids, but my number ain't changed.
That's right.
You could have called me over in Japan. If you knew my number back then, you never had no access to me. And you know who told me to do that? My father told me to do that. And say, you know what? The same thing is true. If you didn't like your situation, you could have always called me because I left my son who left his spirit and said, you can always get in contact with me. And so it wasn't me who moved, it was you that did. Everything that I told you back then is just as valid as it is today. So my phone number ain't changed. The people that care about you have invested in you. They haven't changed. So who changed? And if it was you that changed and it wasn't for the better, then hey, change back. My number still ain't to change. It hasn't changed. Been the same for 30 years. My personal line is my business line because I've always been about my business.
Yep.
That's it. So that's the village that you need to be reaching out to. The people that have not wavered in their commitment to what they do for the village, for the community. And it's okay to expand, and it's okay to grow. I'll be talking about on this show international opportunity for businesses to get supported. The impact is involved with. I've been involved with Grand Rapids. Still have an office in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Still have now 2 offices down here in San Antonio, Texas that I work out of. I'm not going to let something limit me but I always keep my roots where they are supposed to be.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if you know me, then you know me. You can come reach out. You help out. Now, here's the thing: if you've asked me for money before and it hasn't worked out, or I got burnt, you might as well not ask me again because I'm not giving you that. But if it's a worthy cause, if it's something I know that is getting results in the community and lives are being changed, yeah, we talk about it. We can talk about it. But
You know,
uh,
you
that's
talking
it.
about the village and all that stuff. I when Dr. Cross, the owner of a Chicago Bike, came to me and said, "Ron, we need to do something. We gotta get this village going. We need to do something." Then we came up with rebuilding Black Wall Street. If that wasn't a brilliant move right there, I can't think of anything else this year that's more brilliant than that, because we have a line of vendors that wants to come out, and she's not charging a vendor fee. She wants them to keep their own money. So we're doing a big one on April 25th, where it's going to be indoor, outdoor. We're going to have 14 vendors. And we see things that people are coming around that like what we're doing. It's starting to catch a whole lot of steam because everybody's talking about it on what y'all gonna do next? I said we can't do too much next. See, we even planned the schedule out all the way to the end of the year. That's how we went on and did it. So we can turn around and talk to people about it. Come on out and everything. And that's what we need more of. If we get 4 or 5 villages around this city combined together, you know how powerful that would be?
And it needs to happen because there is an attempt to quiet the voices of people of color, and you're never going to quiet our voices, but there's an attempt to. In this last election, we lost every single black sitting judge.
Yes.
That was not by mistake. That was effort. So, again, there was a time when we didn't have any black judges. And we still progressed. How
Right.
did we progress? We progressed through having a strong village. That's what we on here on the Impact Hour. Psychologically, emotionally, economically, historically, building the village. That's what it's about. And I got a lot of people that I can pull forward, and I got a lot of history and things that we can talk about while we build this village. But I'm very excited about this year. I might come off a little heated.
Well, you know what?
That's just my style, right?
You have to do that.
But it's real because I'm sick of us making the same mistake over and over again. And we got to do something different.
Yeah. Which brings this point. Somebody asked me to do a commentary on the Democrats. They asked me to do that.
We're gonna do that right now in the mental health stuff?
No, I'm just gonna. I already done it. When you talk about that, we're doing the same old, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Texas in Color. If you want to see that, go to Texas in Color, the Facebook page, and you will see it right there. I got so many people that came back and told me, "Hey man, you were passionate about what you just said." I said it was the truth. And when you said we don't want stuff recycled, it's almost like you seen it already. I talked about that. We can't keep on doing the same thing and getting the same results. When you said that, I said that too. And me and Joseph have not talked about this. We're just on the same wavelength and know what's going on.
Come on.
And that's what it is, cause he's talking about this side right here, and I was talking about get your butt and get out there and vote. If you want to change, you can't change by sitting on your butt.
And I gotta say this too. I've heard that from a few people that Well, I ain't gonna get out. I don't want to put that boy. I'm not gonna vote because I don't. Somebody I voted for didn't make it. Uh, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Listen, do you know the stuff that man went through? That's up here on this wall, marching, trying to get rights. So just on that strength alone, now I get it. I get people saying, hey, well, if we don't have options, it really gonna make a difference. You don't start making a difference by losing the progress that you've already had.
Yep.
And if you don't vote, why do you think there's so much work and effort in suppressing the vote? That's because they know their strength in the vote.
Mm-hmm.
The only people that don't know the strength are the people that are supposed to vote.
Exactly.
Now, I get it. There's some things that need to change, like the Electoral College. How the districting is happening. But if we give up what we have already fought, bled, and died to get, then we're going backwards, not forwards. Now, do I like everything about the election process and how things are going? Of course not. But do I stop? Do I give up the work that my forefathers have done, our ancestors have done to kind of get us to this point? No. No. The village, when it was working most effectively, had a political element to it. Churches served as campgrounds to progress and move us forward politically. Not saying that you use the pulpit to preach politics, but you had conversations on the church grounds. And some of those dinners, some of those functions, politicians would come and let us know exactly what they stood for and how they were going to help and embrace the community. We rallied together. We had a means of communication, and a sense of family. We're supposed to be family anyway if you're Christian.
That's right.
Shouldn't matter what color you are. Shouldn't matter what spirit is inside of you. And if you're not in that church, I think you need to take a look at your church and make sure you're not in a Laodicean church. I'll let you go to Revelations to figure out what that means.
Break out that Bible, everybody.
And figure out what the seven churches actually mean. Yeah, I was in there last night reading, because there's a lot of churches that think they're churches, but there's a warning in those seven candles and the seven angels. You should figure that out. And I think there's a little scripture people know about that when the Lord calls you, you better make sure that you're ready. And that you're not in the fake version of the church that you're in right now. Because every one of the churches has a fake version. And if it's not about God's work, you know what work it's about.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not about love and bringing people together and healing, you know what work it's about. So,
yeah,
we're talking about building village. We're going to go all the way down to it. Get all the way down to it. So feel free to call in, challenge, write in. We don't get too many people to do that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
40,000 people just listen. just listen.
Some of them like doing that. I don't know why.
I don't know. That's okay though. That's okay.
I'm checking.
But hey, I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a reading assignment. I'm giving it to a lot of my clients. I want y'all to read the power of the two P's, Proverbs and Psalms. The powers of the two P's. Get in there. Go back to Proverbs. Read it chapter 1 all the way through. And if you need your mind, you need some peace, get some joy, get into Psalms. Read it. Understand why we can have joy in the midst of all this nonsense.
Yes.
Why we can have peace in the midst of all this nonsense. Because no matter what's going on, we already know who's won. And it has nothing to do with the current political administration. We already know who won.
Yeah.
We know who reigns sovereign over all kings. The King of Kings. We know who that is.
Yep.
So, and no king currently has anything on the kings of old. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Just read your Bible. People
Yep.
need to read it.
Yep.
So you can see
Bring
what
it
some of
out.
the pharaohs used to be like. You know what I'm saying? And see what power they had. And it ain't. It ain't that. This ain't that. So and it could be a test of faith.
That's right.
That's what all this could be. It could be a test of faith. What do you believe? What my boys say, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. Who you with? Who you with?
You know what? I'm going to challenge people for this right here. Because about 20 years ago, there was I was in San Marcos, and I was having these crazy dreams and stuff. And preacher came to me and said, Ron, what I want you to do before you go to bed at night, I want you to open that Bible. Don't look at what you open up, just open it and go on to sleep. And sure enough, slowly but surely, I will wake up and I go straight and read. I was drawn to that. And it was like, are you kidding me? So I kept on doing it for a whole month. All that stuff was going away. That evil spirit, whatever it was, just went away. And I realized what he was trying to. I was reading the Bible at night and didn't even know it. And I woke up in the morning and I read a scripture. It's about the dream I had. And I said, wait a minute. This can't be real. But after a month of doing that, oh boy, dude, did I believe. So that's something that helped me out, what I was doing. And sometimes to this day, I'll go ahead and open the Bible up by the bed and get up in the morning and see what it says.
So this is probably going to be one of the most powerful things we talked about in this after time. But I'm going to say this. We're at 12:03 p.m. and I know I got to go. I got things I got to do. But I'm going to say this. That Bible that we read is a living, breathing Spirit of God document.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in it. That's why I say read that book, Proverbs and Psalms, and you open that book, it's going to start changing things. And start reading and letting that Word of God sink in your life, and it'll help you deal with this news and understand that there's a reason why, even when a person like that you've seen on there thinks that they're winning, they're still mad because they know in their heart and their soul that they're going to lose.
Yep.
At some point, at some time, because it's always written, and the word will never come back void. And see, the word knows how to sift out the wheat.
Yeah.
And there's something about that spirit that we have. It can't be broken. So, with that being said, man.
All right, my brother.
People don't talk about it, but they need to. Craig Washington, you need to pick it up. You need to hurry up and reach out, because when these groups get going and when they fill up, they fill up. Now, you have to catch the next group, but it's going to be a 30-day group. Each, I'm speaking it already. This is going to be his group, but I already know it's going to be 30 days.
Yes.
Pick up the book. Some of the stuff, I got to read a little bit before we get out of here. Just a couple of things. And see if I show your life, don't need this. The father wound. Woo. Silent anger.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure to provide. the shame I carry, temptation and triggers.
Yes.
Come on now. I think I'm going to get involved with that. I'm on the clinical side. When I don't feel enough, forgiving myself, the mask I wear, the fear of failing, when I'm tired of being strong, the hidden grief, healing the inner boy. Come on now.
Yeah.
When love feels hard. Come on, people don't talk about that. Love ain't always easy. Come on now. The need to control, breaking the silence, letting God lead again, brotherhood and accountability. Chapter, man, come on now, 19, brotherhood and accountability. Learning to rest.
Yes.
When I feel invisible. Man, pick it up.
That's right.
Pick it up. If you don't, hey, some of y'all need to pick it up for your husbands right now, or husbands, especially some of y'all need to pick it up. They're about to get married, so they can deal with some of those things before he gets married.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it might be a premarital counseling requirement.
That'd be good.
Yeah, come on now. Some of your mother-in-laws, you need to get this because it might save you some work.
Yes, sir.
Save you some, I don't know, unless you want your daughter coming back to live with you. I don't know. Anyways, let me stop.
All right, my brother.
All right, now. Talk to y'all later.
All right, you take care.
Hey, actually speak so loudly, I can't hear a word you say.
All right. We'll talk to you later. All right. Later.
Tune in every Thursday at 11 a.m. on WSAN Radio for the Impact Hour with Joseph Lee, where real conversations lead to real change. Joseph Lee is a licensed therapist with over 15 years of experience, and each week he brings practical guidance, clear insight, and solutions you can use to navigate stress, anxiety, relationships, family pressures, and the challenges we're facing in today's world. Today's discussion pulls from Psychology Today magazine and other trusted resources because your mental health matters and your community matters. Have a topic you want us to cover? Reach out to WSAN Radio and let's talk. Let's break the silence, strengthen our families, and make a positive impact together. The Impact Hour with Joseph Lee, Thursdays at 11 a.m., only on WSAN Radio, the soul of America.